clearly like what I wanted, who I wanted to be, and like the type of person I wanted to be going in. And like I knew that the experience would change me, but like I like knew it would be for the better, and I really think it did. And like when stuff got tough at OCS, which I mean, for anyone who's going to officer candidate school, no matter what your plan is going on in, like something's gonna happen, and right? Something's gonna go wrong, like whether it's physical, mental, whatever, like you get like 6 chits and 7 essays or whatever, like, you know, something's gonna happen. And like being able to be mentally strong and like knowing what your purpose is for being there, and like knowing like your end goal and like how you want to approach it, like it helped me so much. Like day to day I was so motivated. Instead of being upset, I was always motivated. And so that was huge for me.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your why. You know, we're speaking a bunch about intentionality, purpose. For Madeline Hoffman, right now, this will change throughout seasons of your life, but can you speak to right now, what is your why and your driving force behind, you know, like what gets you up in the morning and keeps you going?
So, like you and I talked about this a lot before I left for OCS, but the concept of like what you do is for your Marines, like has been huge for me, because like as an officer of Marines, like everything you do is for them. It's not for yourself. You're not like on a personal path to glory. Like you're dedicating your life to the Marines that you lead when you're in the office. And then outside of the office, I've kind of come up with this new saying for myself, like since I've gotten done with OCS, which is that like ductus is a choice. So like you don't become like ductus exemplo.
Can leadership. You tell them what? Yeah.
So ductus exemplo is the motto of Officer Candidate School. It means leadership by example, which is like central to being a Marine Corps leader. So in my mind, ductus is a choice. It's not like you put on bars and you just become a leader and you become leadership by example. You have to practice that in every aspect of your life. And it doesn't constantly mean being like, I'm a Marine, I'm a Marine, I'm a Marine. It's like, I'm going to choose to wake up, eat, like fuel my body correctly, like go do that workout, come back, fuel my body correctly again, like start like reading books off the commandant's reading list, like start talking to other people, like seeing if you can like provide mentorship, because you don't just like earn the title because you put on the insignia, the uniform, and become an officer. Like you have to earn that in like everything you do on a day-to-day basis. So that's become a huge why for me, because like being a Marine like is what you decide to make of it. Like yes, the Corps like offers you like the core values and the community, but like what you decide to do with that is up to you. And so that's been really important to me moving forward into the basic school, where a lot of focus is put on you and you pit up against your peers, but like all you can control is like yourself and like how you tackle everything and like how you respond to adversity. And so like I want to be on top of that, like before I even get there, and like have like kind of that mindset worked out of like this is who I am, and like I'm happy with the person that I am at the end of the day. And so that's huge. And like my overarching why of like why I joined the Marine Corps is that like I want to serve my country until I die. Like I like Senator McCain like just passed away, and like politics aside, whatever, like he is like such a inspiration to me, because he literally served his country his entire life. And like that's like the type of life I want to lead, just because I recognize how fortunate we are to live in the United States, like have the privileges we have, like, and I was so fortunate to like be brought up into a life where like I didn't have to like work for everything I did. Like my parents enforced that, but like I like was never hungry or like never devoid of shelter or whatever. And so I recognized that, and I was like, okay, like you were given so much just by being born. You have to now like devote your life to giving back to like people who don't have it so well as you do. So
no, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I think there's been a lot of reflection, at least in this household, with Matt, who is also a Marine, and we, you know, the evening that John McCain passed away, we just read through like tons of bios on him and all of his history, and the thing that stands out the most is his character. I mean, it's so rare that you find somebody that is so strong in their values, ethics, and morals and character. And I think that it's just, we can carry on his name by emulating his values or living a life that is worthy of service and giving back to others. And with my recent travels to South Africa, seeing the world, having this global perspective of how fortunate we are in America to wake up and have electricity and running water and coffee ready every morning and food to make and education and healthcare and all of these things, it's very easy to take those things for granted, especially being raised in America. Maybe if you've never been international, especially being a white woman in America, the privilege that we have, right? Yeah. And so it's very eye-opening, and so it's really refreshing to see a young person like you that is aware of those privileges that we have. And I think it starts with awareness, whether it's with yourself or educating others. That's why, we lean into the devoted to lifelong learning, is so that we can help people change their perspectives, internally reflect, but also seeing the life that we live in and the world we live in, and trying to make the world a better place, right? Like at the end of the day, that's kind of what my why is just taking every gift that God's given me and pouring it out into other people. I see so much of myself in you because it feels like I was sitting...
Like a mini Taylor.
Yeah, I feel like I was sitting in your shoes like yesterday, but it was, 6 years ago that I finished OCS, and we do have a lot in common, and that's why I'm like the young, your grasshopper, giving you all the information, and helping you to, again, become authentic in who you are without the uniform, and knowing that the uniform is such a major part of your life. But it's also been awesome to see, we are just trying to make you the best Marine for any job that shows up, and preparing you for any challenge that's going to come your way, and giving you the ability to have resilience through micro trauma, building your perseverance, building your resilience, and honing in on your character and what it means to be Madeline Hoffman. And so I'm hoping that viewers seeing this, it is, again, a breath of fresh air for them as well.
Yeah.
Maybe there's certain things from you or from me that they want to take pieces of and apply to their lives, but at the end of the day, they'll create their own self, their own self of what that means, or leadership style, or what that means, right? So, Maddie, you are getting ready to check into the basic school October 1st, which will be 6 months of training with a bunch of other officers. So, from now until then, you have a month. What are the big things on your radar? What's your major focus going to be? And aside from your major focus, what do you feel like are going to be the biggest challenges for you that lie ahead?
Yeah, so I guess you can break it down physical, mental again. So OCS is kind of a beatdown physically. You're just not getting you're not getting enough sleep. You're not getting proper nutrition. It's just not going to happen. So for me, the past week and a half, I've been really focusing on getting proper nutrition, proper sleep, as well as getting back into working out the way that I did before going to OCS. So from a physical point, I want to rebuild but not overexert. Mm-hmm. So that's really important to me, is that I'm building back up. Obviously my major lifts probably took a hit, which is that's fine. You have to be okay with that. Right. I think you can't just be I'm gonna come back from 6 weeks of not touching a barbell and I'm gonna pull the same numbers. That's just not gonna happen. So from a physical aspect, I want to just build slowly and steadily, and not worry about what everyone else is doing in the gym. Mm-hmm. And just hone in and make sure that I'm intelligent and don't break myself mm-hmm. in the next 4.5 weeks or whatever it is. Mentally, like I said, I really want to keep focusing on that concept of ductus is a choice. So you show up at TBS, and there's a lot of ways you can go about it. TBS, the basic school, by the way, if that wasn't obvious. So there's a lot of ways you can go about it. You can be this is college 2.0, I'm gonna go get drunk every weekend and send it in DC and have a super fun time and whatever. That is not how I want to approach TBS. I want to approach TBS as this is a really good... Sumo is cackling down there.
Yeah, stop.
This is an opportunity to learn as much as you can, to meet other Marines, like, and to start honing your leadership skills. So I know that I want to go into TBS and, like, focus on what matters, like, which is, like, becoming a better officer. That doesn't mean, like, that I won't have fun, but, like, I know going in that, like, my priorities are not going to be, like, going out on the weekends and things like that. Like, my priorities are going to be, like, doing what I need to do to become a better officer.
Right.
And to, like, meet my classmates and, like, have a good time, like, within the confines of, like, things that make us better. So, like, instead of going and drinking on the weekends, like, go drop in at a CrossFit gym and do the workout of the day and meet the local community and, like, get out there.
Sorry, guys. Sumo, give me this.
Sumo is Taylor's dog. This, like, little
really
precious Frenchie, and he's...
French bulldogs are really loud. If you guys
can hear the
hear
snorkeling.
him.
Yeah.
Okay, so apologize for interrupting. That was very rude.
It's okay. It's okay.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on.
There he is.
He's sorry.
He's joined the conversation.
He's sorry.
So yeah, like, so instead of going out and, like, doing crazy stuff, it's just, like, get in the community, like, drop in at a CrossFit gym, like, maybe go volunteer locally, like, do, like, things like that on the weekends that actually, like, are helpful and, like, are good for your personal development. So I know I want to focus on that, kind of that mindset, that like, practice of just, like, being a good individual outside of your time as a Marine as well. Yeah, that's like where I've been focused right now. Definitely I've been reading a lot. So just
we'll
books
do a
on
lot of journal prompts.
Yeah, journal
and
prompts.
Self-reflection.
So reading, writing, like, some books are for pleasure, some books are, you know, more leadership focused
and having fun between here and there too. I know you have fun at TBS, but so I know that we have had the conversation in terms of reputation and what it, you know, that reputation is a very important thing regardless of your gender, but something that a lot of people don't talk about is that there kind of is this double standard, especially if you're a female in the Marine Corps, because we make up less than 10% of the Marine Corps. So one, you're a female, two, you're going to be surpassing a lot of the standards, whether you're beating males or beating females, so you're kind of going to be in this spotlight, and with that is there's good and there's bad with that, right? So you talked about on the weekends doing things to develop yourself and not necessarily going out and, like, partying, but can you just, I know we've had this discussion, but talk about what that means to you and how important your reputation is to you and what you feel like you need to do to honor your name, honor the name of, you know, the Marine Corps and what you represent, and just you as a person, what that means to you, and kind of some key points or takeaways for people who might be listening and having, like, similar concerns.
Yeah. So I will say, like, reputation begins the second you step on to, like, Brownfield, in terms of, like, which Brownfield is the location of OCS. So, like, your professional relationships and your professional reputation start there, whether you think it does or not. Like, even though it's just a training command, like, you start establishing the type of Marine that you want to be from day one. And so all your decisions, like, and how you react to adversity and things like that compile to make your reputation. And so I like to think of it as, like, you don't have to be perfect, but, like, the way you respond to adversity has to be strong. And that might look different for different people, but like, going into TBS, like, I know there's going to be struggles, and I had struggles personally at OCS, and so, like, it's how you respond to that and get on top of that that's going to start building your professional reputation. In terms of, like, decisions that you'll make within the Marine Corps that, like, other people will have different opinions on, like, we talked about this earlier, but it's like, you need to do things for the reasons that you know you're doing them, and regardless of, like, what other people's opinions are of those reasons, you need to remember, like, what your purpose is.
Right.
So, like, the big example, we've talked about this multiple times, is, like, pull-ups on the PFT. Like, I'm of the mindset that, like, the more pull-ups I do, first of all, I'm giving the Marine Corps data that, like, their pull-up standard is too low for females, or, like, that there are females out that there in the fleet that are capable of doing more, and hopefully, like, the more people who exceed the standard and, like, don't stop at the Marine Corps standard for the Marine Corps maximum standard for female pull-ups, which is 9 reps right now, like, the more people who, like, exceed that, the faster those numbers will start to,